speed. Speed is what we need. And in today's video, we're going to be discussing the fastest gold farm team that I have discovered personally after a solid 24 hours of research. I put every single character that is used normally in gold farm and then a few extra ones that I thought would be pretty decent on a stat sheet. I then calculated their animations, and then figured out what would be their fastest team for them individually. And I think I discovered the fastest team that no one's used yet. So be sure to like, comment, and subscribe because we're on over 3,000 subs, and this is a little bit of a different style video because I don't really make commentary pieces that often, but this is something that I think needs to become a forefront of the community when it comes to farming, and that's the whole gold farming thing, because a lot of teams out there are not that good. A lot of them are not that good. Like, for instance, our Brunhild, like, let's be real, she's terrible for gold farming. Her animations are way too long, and it takes too long of time. It's just not worth it. So I went through the fun experiment of going through every single character that is used in gold farm that I see normally. Now, if there's some obscure characters, I didn't really do the research for them, but characters like Demon King, OG Demon King, Bon, Hauser, Millum, Tyr, the Mave Comp, Ragamelli, Brunhild, Millum, LR Zeldris. Like, I went through a lot of characters and a lot of different teams that people use, and I statted all of them on a spreadsheet. Now, the results were so insane that I didn't even finish the spreadsheet. Like, the spreadsheet I had, it was just irrelevant because I found the fastest team, and there was no team that was clearing gold farm as fast as these teams that I'm about to show you today. So be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We're on the road to 3,000, and let's go ahead and just break it down real quick, because as fast as gold farming is, well, we got to make this video a little fast too, don't we? So at number 3, we have this team on the screen right now: Chad King, Gilther, Melly, Merlin, or Liz in the back. Doesn't really matter which, but I would prefer Merlin. This team is very much a gimmick heavy team. It's not consistent. This is why this is the 3rd team on the list, but this is a team that can clear gold farming at the same pace as other teams. The problem, though, this is why this is number 3, and I also wouldn't say this is even the fastest of the teams that exist. This is just a team that I found to be fun and, like, you know, a little different than your casual teams. But at the same time, this team is peak AI manipulation. That means that this team is taking AI behavior into account, and that's what this is for, right? If you use this team, your AI will prioritize Meliodas' AoE at all times. It'll always be the card that this team prioritizes. And the reason that's a good thing is because Meliodas has the 3rd fastest AoE in the game, technically 4th, but the AoE for Meliodas is 2.3 seconds. It is very, very fast, and it's literally like that when it comes to clearing a stage. And if you pull that AoE every single turn and you somehow get an ult for the last phase, you're shaving off a bunch of time. But this team is pretty self-explanatory, right? I should probably show y'all what this team looks like in a perfect RNG run or something like that, right? Or at least your average run with this team, correct? Yeah, I'll be doing that right now. And as you can see, with a decent RNG run, you're probably gonna get yourself about somewhere between 37 seconds to 50 seconds with a good RNG run where it doesn't like screw up. Now, what a bad RNG run looks like with this team, I should say, it would be like a more like a minute and 20 seconds on a bad RNG run. That's why this team isn't something I would recommend, but it is a fun team to run in general. And then we talk statistics, right? How many times did this team clear gold farming in 100 or in 6 hours? And how many, or how long did it take to clear the gold farm 400 times? It took, in 6 hours, this team ran the gold farm about 330 times. To be more specific, it was like 338. And then it took about 7 hours, 7.5 hours to run Gold Dungeon 400 times, which is technically not horrible, but there are faster teams out there, way faster teams. But this is a team that exists. But these other two teams that's coming up are very, very outclassing this one. So honestly, I wouldn't even recommend people using this team. This is just a pretty funny team that I found that's peak AI manipulation to the point where it'll only use melee cards when available. So, you know, if you want to have a really fun time doing absolutely nothing and watching your stream do auto, this is the team right here. But it's not the fastest one. Now, let's actually move on to our number 2 spot here. And that's going to be the Maeve setup, okay? This team is very uncommon, but it's also a really common team. It's more used with, like, the higher whales of the community. But this is a really, really, really fast team. The gimmick of this team, well, I guess I'll just, you know, play the clip. But as you can see, this team is really super fast. The only drawback to this team, however, even though it's like, yeah, you one turn, you one card, you won everything except for the first phase. That's the slowest part of this team because Maeve's attack is really slow. There is 2 drawbacks to this team, however, and that is obviously Maeve, right? Her attack buff is way too slow and it steals a lot of time. But the thing about it is the ultimate on phase 3 saves up that time. So you're losing a lot of time in phase 1, but you're gaining a lot of time by ulting in phase 3. That's the gimmick of this team, right? And there really isn't any downside to this team other than if you somehow get a lot of Maeve cards and then they start using that ugly single target that they use. That's the only time where this team is literally super bad. But other than that, it's purely consistent. It works like a charm. And then when it comes to links, these links aren't what I would recommend, by the way. I would say like Sabunak on Milim, and then like whatever DPS kind of links you want, and then attack card sets. Those are going to be the links you're looking for. But yes, that's the only drawback, is that Maeve is super slow sometimes, and if you get a lot of Maeve cards, then your run is kind of dead. But this doesn't mean that this is number 2 just because of that. I made this team number 2 because this team and the number 1 team are so intertwined until like very late into farming that it doesn't really matter which one you use, right? In 5 to 6 hours, it made it to like 300, but it made it to 400 a lot faster than the number 3 account, obviously. The actual turning point for this team and the first team, however, is that what I discovered, the longer that it goes on, the faster that the other team becomes, which is very interesting because I'll show you on the screen now. I took a screenshot when I was farming it. I'll show you on the team. On the right side, you'll have the number 1 team that I'm talking about, and on the left side, you'll have this team. And I started both runs at the exact same time. I did them overnight, and I woke up, and those were the results. So overall, this is a very, very, very good team, but I can't put it at number 1 for my sake, right? I just can't. The auto repeat speaks for itself. So at number 1, we have the humans, baby. Yes, sir. We have LR Bond, LR Hauser, and Arthur. This team is what I discovered to be the fastest gold farm team in the game. I will stamp this as my own opinion because there's a lot that goes into this team, and in it I will just show you guys a obviously decent RNG to perfect RNG run, but let's go with like the middle ground. Let's go with decent RNG, and you can just see for yourself how fast this team is. So yeah, the reason I'm making this team number 1 instead of the Mave comp, because yes, the Mave comp is technically more consistent than this LR Bond and LR Hauser comp because of 2 different things, but they're both AI related, right? For the Mave comp, the downside is that phase 1 is really long. Phase 1 and 2 can get hoed if your Mave decides to attack. And phase 3 is a no-brainer. It gets no diff. That's the easiest part of the Mave team. So phase 1 is a little rough. Phase 2 can be rough, but phase 3 is a confirmed kill, the fastest phase of the 3 for gold farming. But on the Bond side of things, phase 1 is a no-brainer. It gets one-shotted in any scenario. It's infinitely faster than the Mave team. Phase 2 can be tricky because the AI will sometimes prioritize Arthur's cards if you have them at level 2, or if they're in a position where they can use that card in the middle and merge a card from that usage. So in phase 2 it's a little tricky. That's why though, that's why if you giga build Arthur, you won't have that problem, because if it does use that single target card, at least you will kill in 1 card. That's why Sabunok is on Arthur. But I mean, yeah, you would think like, oh, he's level 90 and he's doing it. Yes, he's level 90 and I'm still able to do this consistently. I would recommend keeping him at level 90 because I do think the AI kind of prioritizes his cards a little more if he is level 100. That is a little bit of a myth though. But if you already have him level 100, that's fine. I think that'll be better for you. But I'm just going to keep him on level 90 for now because I do think there is something about the AI that's like, oh, he's level 90, so his card's not going to hit that hard. So we're just not going to use it. I do think that is a thing that exists. But in any scenario, phase 2 might get a little rough, and phase 3 could get rough if it decides to use Arthur's cards, but usually it'll just double AoE with Hauser and then call it a day. But again, this team is pure motivation, the Mave team is pure consistency, so it really depends on what you want to do. And it also kind of depends on if you want to run humans, if you have LR Hauser, because if you don't have LR Hauser, this isn't going to work correctly, because now that he's LR and his stats are all increased by 10% because of his new passive, this LR Hauser is the bare bones, like he's almost exactly where you need him to be in terms of attack stats, which is 19,000. If you have him over 19,000, you'll be fine, to the point where he can actually one-shot the stage 6 teams, which is a very, very good improvement of this Hauser. So yeah, I don't think I need to say anything more about this team specifically. I do think this is the fastest team for gold farming at the moment. The Mave team is a close second, And then that Meliodas team is just for fun. I'm gonna be honest. It's just these two. It's really just two teams. I'm gonna be so honest with you, bro. It's really just the two teams. I haven't seen any other teams that come close. Not the Hell, Gelda, Sabunat comp. They're all really slow in their AoE department. Not Brunhild. Brunhild has the worst timing for her AoE. And on top of that, her AI is stupid enough to want to use the single targets over any other card in your hand. So Brunhild AI is just not good enough for gold farming for me. So genuinely speaking, it's these two teams. And again, just to go back to the more consistent team, you don't need Milim to make this work. The only person that is relatively needed on this team is Maeve, Tyr, and Merlin. If you do not have Milim, you can replace her with any other ultimate that's super hard hitting, as long as their card does not have weak point on it like Tyr. Because you want the AI to prioritize Tyr. And if you don't know that, they prioritize weak point over everything else. Especially when the enemy is debuffed. Which is also why Brunhild fucking sucks. But that's besides the point. The point is, this is going to be the video. So, like, comment, and subscribe. And literally, if you have any other team comes in the, you know, that no one knows about, no one's heard, no one's seen, and you think they can compete with any of these two teams, be sure to leave them in the comment section below, and I'll be sure to test them. But I promise you, if it's got Brunhild on it, if it's got Hell on it, if it's got Gelda on it, it won't be faster than these two teams. It won't even be faster than the first team. That's how bad the AI for Brunhild is. So, yeah. I'm a changed man now. I found my new farm team. It is very fun. It is very consistent. Yes, it is not the Maeve team. This is my new farm team now. So, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Easy as that. Peace.